Hello and welcome to this video. I'm going through a very intense metamorphosis. Lots of terror is being liberated from this animal body, from this fight or flight nervous system, and it's quite wonderful. It's a fire. Last night I just was like, oh my God, I felt like I was on fire. There was so much light shining on old terror in my body. And it was just like this beautiful fire. I mean, yes, there was some suffering, you could say, on the level of the body and the mind, because it was just like, oh my gosh, I was in these just flames of grace, right? And it's just like really, really intense. But there was also this bliss that was happening simultaneously, this immense gratitude for the liberation and metamorphosis that was underway, that's still continuing on in this moment, where a lot of this terror, I recognized, since I've been in this home that I'm in, and I spoke a lot about it on Patreon in detail if you'd like to know more of the story aspect of it. But since I've been in this home for nearly the last week, I felt so much terror, that unconscious terror, subconscious terror. Like, I've been sitting here and I've been recognizing, oh my gosh, I'm not actually consciously afraid of anything right now. And I had this was an incredibly powerful and liberating realization I had during this last week, where I just was like, I'm consciously not afraid. I know I'm not in danger. But being in this circumstance has triggered up a lot of, you could say, past life terror. You could say terror from my family lineage, going way, way back. Sure that there's been a lot of terror in my family lineage on both sides. You could say that this is just subconscious terror, terror from maybe childhood. However you want to choose to feel into where this terror comes from. The beautiful thing is that it's like it was just handed to us. It's like I realized, oh my God, this terror is not mine in this moment. Like, there's nothing to be afraid of in this moment. What a blessing that this terror gets to come up and be liberated from my being. It gets to come up and be transmuted into the light. And that's the experience I've been having. And it's working with terror in a somatic way. Like this morning, I let myself just get all the way small. Sometimes terror like your body just wants to get all the way small. And it's just like moving with terror, moving with the energy in your body is the best way to support this metamorphosis that's underway in all of us. And so I was feeling that this morning, and it was just feeling so good, surrendering to the terror that's been trapped in my body for however long, that perhaps I brought into this life from past lives. And like I said, it's been so nice to check in while the terror is just like, I've just been on fire. And you'll notice terror is just a lot of light. It just wants to move. And as terror transforms and transmutes, it turns into excitement. It turns into passion. It turns into connectivity to that which you really care about, to that which gives you meaning, to that which brings your life meaning. That's why this morning I was so excited to shoot this video, and I had to wait for the house to kind of clear out so I had the space so I could really speak freely. And I was feeling this anger, like, people, why isn't everyone leaving? I want the house to myself, because this terror, it wants to speak. It wants, this terror that's been transmuting through this metamorphosis process that I've been really deeply involved in since being in this home. And now it wants to express, it's been churning into light to share with you guys. And that's what you'll notice about your unconscious energies, especially your unconscious terror, as you're with it, as you appreciate the fact that it's burning up, that it's coming into the light, that you can feel it, that you're just like shaking, that something in you is just like so terrified, but you're consciously realizing, I'm not scared of anything. That's the sweet spot. That means like so much evolution is occurring within you in that moment. So much transmutation and transformation is happening. And you'll notice as that happens, and that terror, it transforms into consciousness, it transforms into light. It's like that's the fuel for your creativity, right? It's like that alchemy process, that's actually what bursts your creative impulses, your creative gifts. That helps it. This terror is once it's transmuted, it just helps your gifts come online more fully. It's like it gives like it just something about it. It just moves you into creative action. So be thankful for this metamorphosis process. You know, this is what, you know, inspires your art. This is what connects you to your purpose. And so, you know, as I was this morning, you know, the somatic movement was to get small with it. Earlier in the week, it was to really root into my belly. The belly is our power center. And to really be big and have a big presence, right? And earlier in the week, I had to really set boundaries with people in a really affirmative way. And that helped a lot of this old terror dissolve. Like, oh shit, there's someone here who has our back. There's a powerful force here. A lot of times your terror, this older terror you brought into this life or was handed to you from your parents or your family lineage, however you want to look at it, this terror sometimes needs to know that there's a force of power here, that there's something here that will set boundaries, that will stand for itself, you know, that isn't going to allow, you know, it to be bullied or picked on. And that can help this terror start to feel safe and integrate as well. So it's just like being one with what is this terror asking you for has been the biggest teaching this week for me. And then the gratitude, like there's so much of me that's wanted to run this week because it's been intense. You can probably see it in my face. I've been going through an intense transformation. Lots of energy has been moving through. And so at times it's been deeply restful, and at other times it's been like we're just hanging on for dear life, right? We're just gripping for the next moment, like we got this. And so what you really want to try to cultivate is like this appreciation for this process. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, there's so much light here. Like, I was so guided to come here. And so, like, even though it's been intense and overwhelming at times, there's this part of me I almost don't want to leave. You know, I have other things arranged. I'm leaving tomorrow. I arranged this a while ago that I'd only be here a week, which seems about perfect for the body, right? But there's this spiritual aspect of me that's like, holy shit, this is liberation. This is the path to freedom. Like, thank you for bringing me here, Divine Mother. Thank you for bringing me here so that, you know, I could leave here more free. Like, there's this part of me that's just so, I can't explain it. It's just like, yeah, it's been fucking hard. I've wanted to run. I've distracted quite a bit at times. At some points I'd be like, why did you guide me to come here, Divine Mother? But then I just feel all this light descend into me, all these chills. And it's like the Divine Mother knows what circumstances to bring us into to help us release unconscious fears from our body. It's like consciously coming here. Yeah, I've had moments of being this a little creepy. There's, you know, it's like a little bit consciously, but not much. And actually through this experience, I've seen through any conscious fears I've had about being here. But this isn't really about that. It's about how do we access the unconscious emotions and energies in our body. And a lot of times if we're just following our ego, we're only going to go to places where we're going to feel really good and not feel pain, right? But sometimes we're divinely guided. A lot of times we're divinely guided into places that aren't for our ego to feel good. Like, I got so many chills when I was looking at the Airbnb to come here. Like, it was I'm getting chills right now saying this. It was undeniable that I was meant to come here. Like, there was just, and I was reading the description and I was having my reservations, you know, I was like, are you sure, Divine Mother? And I was just like, she was like pouring it on with chills and grace. Like, no, I want you to go there. And when I first got here, I was like, okay. And there was some conflict and there was some, but then that all resolved in a really beautiful way. And I talk about that on the Patreon video as well. And I just had to meet a lot of myself. I had to meet a lot of this old repressed terror and become friends with it. I had to stand in my power in a different way than in a more deeper way than I ever had before in some ways. But like I was saying, the divine, she's going to guide us into scenarios, relationships, experiences, circumstances that aren't to strengthen our egoic will. Like, why would we want that? It's actually, she's going to guide us into situations to disassemble our egoic will, to disassemble how we try to live by this paradigm of, I only want to go where it feels good and I want to avoid what feels bad. She's going to take us into places that maybe don't feel the best, but you'll notice if it's truly a heart-led decision and it's truly divine, like, you'll go into places and it may not feel good, but there's going to be lots of light. There's going to be lots of blessings. There's going to be lots of grace to support you. Even if she asks you to go into darkness, go into maybe she'll ask you to go into places that terrify you. It's like, those are the places where we reclaim our power. Those are the places where we reconnect to the divine in the deepest way. Those are the places where we find the most liberation from that which is burdening us. Like, I know I've been carrying this terror since I was a very young child. I'd have insane nightmares. I've had crazy fears of the dark and just really illogical, terrifying feelings in my body for a long time. Like, since I was born, basically. I know I came into this life with a lot of it. We could say it's karmic. There's a lot of things we could point to. But the beautiful thing is just like how the Divine Mother is assisting me by bringing me to places like this in liberating myself from that terror. Like I said, the whole time I've been here, basically, I'm realizing I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not in any real danger. It's just been lots of unconscious fear coming up, lots of shadow. And so I've had this interesting experience this last week where it's been difficult, it's been challenging, it's been a lot of dense feelings. It's been a lot of, just being with terror, which can be obviously uncomfortable for the mind and the body at times. But I've also felt a really open heart. And that's the sweet spot. If you're going through challenges and difficulties, but your heart's open and you're feeling lots of light, my friend, you are in, like I said, you are really in the place you need to be. Like, that's where so much beautiful healing is occurring. Like, my heart has been just so open, it's been so happy to be here. Well, yeah, I've been feeling contraction. I've been feeling, almost like throwing up, like so much terror, is coming up and out. But it's been such a blessing. And it's like going into the unknown, going into places that, like my egoic will wouldn't have chosen to come here in many ways. I really needed that divine guidance, that like being flooded with grace while booking this place is like made it so I knew I had to come here, right? My egoic will likes to go towards where I'm going to feel comfortable and spacious and not have to connect with these old repressed energies of terror and rage or anything like that. My egoic will just wants the easy out. It doesn't want to face the shadow, right? It just wants pleasure and comfort and security. That's what all egos want. But when you connect to something greater, she's going to take you into places that maybe don't feel great, but are going to help you transcend what your ego wants, are going to help you transcend the just chasing pleasure and trying to avoid pain paradigm. And that's what this journey is all about. Living in that transcended state where you are aligned with truth in every moment. Because truth isn't about chasing pleasure and avoiding pain. Truth is about being lit on fire by grace, by light, by love, and walking in the direction of the unknown, walking in the direction that's going to trigger up where you're not free. It's like walking in the direction of liberation. Be thankful for your triggers because they show you where you're not free. I read that quote somewhere, I think on Instagram today or a few days ago. It's like that's what walking in the truth is going to do. It's going to bring you into situations that are going to trigger you because the truth is always just trying to liberate you. Your ego doesn't care so much about liberation in as much as like, oh, is liberation, is it going to help me make $1 million or something? You know what I mean? It's like, what can it get from it? But it's your soul that's here for truth. And when we follow our soul, our hearts will feel our heart open. We might be feeling lit on fire with terror and rage and all these unconscious emotions. But we'll also feel this magnificent and immense energetic support guiding us and loving us, even as we're in the midst of a really radical and intense and overwhelming metamorphosis on the level of the body and mind. We'll know we're in truth, and that's the best security blanket there is of all. That's actually real safety. Real safety is abiding in the truth. Sometimes on the egoic level, it may not feel like it, but deep down, you'll know. And every moment you're aligned with truth, you'll know this is exactly where I want to be, even if I'm feeling terror, because you'll know that terror is being liberated. All right, that felt good to share. Had a lot of energy that I wanted to express. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate all of your guys' support. Sending you all so much love. Check out the Patreon channel and the Patreon community if you'd like to see some bonus content. Sure, I'll be pouring a lot of love into that platform in the coming days and weeks. And I believe there's already 30 or so exclusive videos on there already. And there's a really good way to connect with me one-on-one for like a short 15-minute session if you've been curious. And I believe, yeah, it's at a really discounted rate considering what I'm charging now for sessions. So check that out. The description, all the links will be in the description box below. Other than that, just thank you for being here. I really appreciate all of your guys' comments and likes and subscriptions and support. It really means a lot to me. Until next time, namaste.